The review this week is a doubleheader: Dope Thief on Apple TV Plus and Adolescence on Netflix. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of Dope Thief, a limited series based on the novel by Dennis Tafoya and executive produced by Ridley Scott. Dope Thief tells the story of 2 friends, Ray and Manny, who met in prison years ago. Now on the outside, which is a low-rent part of Philadelphia, they develop a side hustle impersonating DEA agents. They conduct fake drug busts to rob small-time drug dealers. One of their paroled friends, Rick, convinces them to go after bigger fish by robbing a huge meth operation outside the city. But the score goes bad. A real DEA agent is killed, and a violent meth kingpin vows to get even with Ray and Manny, who destroyed his lab and took off with $500,000 of his money and a case full of bottled liquid meth. Brian Tyree Henry stars as Ray, and Wagner Moura plays Manny. Now, these 2 actors make the characters likable, and they're written as likable, though not very smart. Now, they justify being dope thieves because, allegedly, they're not the drug dealers who are poisoning the city, but they offload the drugs they steal to their distributor, Son Pham, played by Dustin Nguyen, a Vietnamese refugee who climbed the drug-dealing ladder and now poses as a model citizen. The first episode is directed by Ridley Scott, and what a rare treat. The opening scene, including the fake drug bust, feels like a feature film, and Ridley Scott's incomparable vision is on display. So is his sympathy for the heroes, Ray and Manny. We're told their history in flashbacks, and the relative squalor of their lives is shown. They're both still drug users, and Ray is an alcoholic. They have no idea that their big score is an impossible dream. Their paroled friend, Rick, gets high right before the big score, but they still arm him with a loaded pistol. At that point, we knew it would all go wrong. Just from watching these 2 episodes, it seems that Dope Thief is Ray's story, and Brian Tyree Henry is up to the task. He's an Oscar nominee and plays this character from the wrong side of the tracks as a thinking man. He theorizes that the fake drug busts work because of authority bias. Keep your face down on the carpet, I'm tired of repeating myself. Brian Tyree Henry is at his best in these scenes, when he's pretending to be DEA. His backstory is compelling. His father was abusive and is in jail for drug dealing. Ray was raised by his stepmom and only goes for the big score because he thought she needed $10,000 for medical expenses. Turns out it's his father who has cancer and is up for compassionate release from prison. Amid all of this, the fake drug bust at the end of episode 1 is just different than the previous ones. Ridley Scott builds the suspense with details such as the meth cooker demanding to see a warrant and a Doberman trying to crash through the door. It's not often we get to watch episodes of a streaming show directed by Ridley Scott, so I strongly recommend watching at least episode 1, but I plan to finish watching the series as each episode drops over the next couple of weeks. Now for Adolescence, a 4-part limited series that takes place in Britain. It's not an easy watch, but is worth watching. A young teenager is arrested for the murder of a classmate. Now, each episode is shot in a single take, so it's sort of like a stage play where the action is continuous and there are no edits. Now let's think about that for a moment. If even one actor, even in the background, missed a cue or busted out laughing, they would have to start filming all over again from the beginning. Kudos to the cast and crew for the technical feat. Now for acting awards. Owen Cooper plays the teenager. His best scenes are in episode 3, which is filmed in a juvenile detention center, in the psych ward, where he's being interviewed by a psychiatrist. Now that comprises the entire episode, and this really seems like a traditional stage play where we have just 2 characters on stage and they both walk away with Tony Awards. Owen Cooper has a tough job here. He's playing literally the least likable 13-year-old on the planet, and that's more difficult than we might think because in episode 2, we meet all of his schoolmates. Episode 2 is filmed at the school, and the kids are all so obnoxious I became uncomfortable even just sitting and watching them. The classmate he murdered was a young girl. I won't reveal the details about why. Why would he do such a horrific murder? What I will say is Adolescence is also a story about the pernicious impact of social media on young people. The story discusses the influence of a celebrity misogynist that I won't name, and now you get the picture. Erin Doherty gives a remarkable performance as the psychiatrist. Her character is also unlikable. She protests that she's not lying to her patient, just trying to get the information so that she can write a pre-sentence report for the judge. But as I watched the episode, I thought, she is lying to him. And eventually the psychiatrist elicits the horrible reasons for the crime, which I guess could have happened even without the presence of social media. But social media does expand the geographic reach of all the good and bad of adolescence. In this series, however, we're only shown the bad, nothing good. The series paints a bleak picture of modern adolescence. Final acting award goes to Stephen Graham, who plays the boy's father. Episode 4 tells the story from his perspective when his plumber's van is vandalized because the family is notorious now on social media. They're an upwardly mobile family baffled by their son's actions. I thought we would see the same violent behavior in the dad that caused his son to murder, but no, this is a regular family. Their son isolated himself with a computer and a headset. He would be up till 1 o'clock in the morning on a school night. Now, their daughter is different. She turned out to be a good kid, and the parents both take pride in how she turned out and blame themselves for their son's actions, especially the father. He ends the story by weeping in his son's room, and he's saying, "I'm sorry, my son. I'm sorry. I should have done better." But could he have done? The answer to that is unknowable. If the plumbing business hadn't taken off, would he have paid more attention at home? Were the signs there? Difficult questions. Finally, about the technical feat. Filming each episode in a single take. I admire how they pulled it off. Was it necessary? Well, it's an artistic choice, and so necessity need not play a role in how we evaluate the results. Now, some folks regard the single take as a gimmick. Now, as it's executed here in this story, I thought it made the story seem more bleak. Now, in contrast, in Dope Thief, the squalor of the city in which the protagonists live is portrayed with rapid cuts, lots of editing. We're shown selective details, and maybe for that reason, Dope Thief has a redemptive tone, despite the miserable conditions being portrayed overall. In Adolescence, it's the opposite. Although the circumstances of the protagonists are objectively a lot better since they're not strung out on drugs and manage to pay their bills, the future is bleak, for the young teen murderer especially. In Dope Thief, with the rapid cuts and selective details, we're shown the beauty amid the squalor, and it's nothing like the prevailing narrative on social media. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.